everyone, and welcome to Arts and Crafts for You. We're here in Brampton, Ontario at the store Arts and Crafts for You, and today I decided that I was going to show you how to do this messenger bag that I've made to celebrate Canada 150. I used strips of 4 different colors to represent the Hudson Bay, and I used the map of Canada for my flap of the bag. So I'm going to give you the instructions. I'm also going to be adding a PDF on the description that you guys can download the instructions if you miss something on the video. So let's get started. So for this bag, we're going to start with the exterior of the bag. And for the exterior, you're going to cut strips of 4 inches by 44 in 5 different colors. We're going to start with green, red, yellow, blue, and black. If you don't want to do it 4 different colors, you can also just cut 2 big pieces of fabric with the measurements of 16 by 19 and use that instead. When you're going to cut that for your exterior, also we're going to need to make the exterior a little bit thicker. We're going to use some Pellon Decor Bond, the 809. It just makes it a little bit more sturdy, the bag. So what are you going to do with that? You're going to get your strips first. You're going to sew them all together to make a long strip. After you have them all sewed in, you're going to cut in 2 pieces for your front and back of 16 by 19. When you've done that, you're going to end up with the 2 pieces that I already did that and have it here. So then what I'm going to do, my next step would be fuse my Decor Bond to the back of my fabric to both sides. Just follow the instructions if you never used it before. I use a lot of steam normally just to make sure it sticks really well. So you would fuse these 2. I'm just going to show you more or less. So you would put them together like that, fuse them with the sticky side down, and then fuse it. Then what you're going to do after you've done that, you're going to try to match your stripes so they go all the way around the bag. So you're going to get some pins. You're going to find your seam over here. So you would go here and just put the pin right on the seam. Then you would find your other fabric and do the same thing. Find right on the seam and put it in. Match it. Let's see. Match it and then pin it. Then you would do that to all of your stripes, and you would pin it all the way around. So my next step after I match that side, I would also match this side, of course, and then I would sew it down, across, and up, and leave my top open. So after I'm done that, I would end up with one piece like this. See, it's fused and sewed around, so I'm ready to go. Since my front is already done, I'm gonna put it to the side and we're gonna work on our lining. So for the lining, you're gonna need 2 pieces of fabric, 16 by 19, and 2 pieces of fusible fleecy, 16 by 19. What we're going to do, we're going to fuse our fusible fleecy to the wrong side of our fabric. And again, if you never used fusible fleecy, I would follow the instructions, the manufacturer instructions that comes with when you buy it. Normally it's the same idea. You use a hot iron and you use a lot of steam. So you would put wrong sides together, the sticky side to the wrong side, And there's your other piece, and you would fuse it. After it's fused, you're going to be doing your pocket. So we want to add a pocket on the inside. So for your pocket, you're going to cut a piece of 16 by 14. So this is my piece that I have here. I'm going to fold it in half, mark an opening in the middle here that I need to leave open, and then I'm going to pin this together, and I'm going to be sewing from here down all the way to here, and here up all the way to here. After I'm done sewing, I'm going to flip it inside out, iron it, and then attach it to my bag. To attach to the lining, you're going to find the middle of your bag. I marked mine about 4 inches down from the top, and I sew mine more or less like, let me show you one that I already have done so you can have the idea where I sewed mine. So this is my lining. And this is where I sewed mine, right in the middle. I divide my pocket into 3 parts, but you can do whatever you want. You can do 4 parts, 5 parts, 4 parts, 5 parts, whatever, how many pockets you really want. I just decided to have 3. Then after you have that done, the pocket in, you're going to put your 2 pieces together that they've been fused, and you're going to do the same thing that you did to your exterior of your bag. You're going to be sewing sides, bottom. The only thing different that you're going to be doing is leaving an opening here in the bottom, because we're going to need to flip the bag out. So we're going to put this to the side, and we're going to be working on our flap. For our flap, we're going to be needing 1 map panel, 14 by 17, that's this one here, one piece of decor bond, also the same size, about 14 by 17, 1 piece of back fabric, same size, 14 by 17, and 1 piece of fusible fleecy. That's going to be 14 by 17. So the fusible fleecy you're going to attach to your back material. You're going to fuse this one to this one here together. And your Pellon decor bond, you're going to fuse to your map panel. After they're fused, if you have any extra fusible fleecy or even decor bond, you're going to trim it all off. You're going to put this one right side up, your back fabric also side down. You're going to sew around about 1/4 inch. The only thing you're going to leave opening is the top. We're also going to leave this top open, and I'm going to tell you why after. So what we're going to do here, you're going to pin it, take it to the machine and sew all the way around. After you've done that, you're going to flip it to the right side, and when you've done that, you're going to end up with a piece that looks like this. And that's my back. And this is my top open with all the fusible part. Now we're going to have to attach a magnetic snap. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to fold this in half, and I would say about 4 inches up. Let me just grab a ruler. So if I push hard on it, this is about my middle. So I'm gonna go about 4 inches up. Let's see. Okay, so about 4 inches, and this was about the middle. And I'm gonna put a little marking here. This is where I'm gonna put the snap. So to attach the snap, it's quite easy. You get your snaps come in 2 pieces, and they bring some metal pieces that you attach to the back. So you open it, and this little piece here, you're gonna go where you did your dot, right about there, and you're gonna mark it here and here. You're gonna get a seam ripper. So you get your seam ripper. You're gonna go here where you made those little dots here, and you're gonna cut it. You get your magnetic snap. You put it in through those little holes that you made with. Bring it to the side. Get your little metal piece, and you're gonna put it in there to hold it in place, and then you're gonna fold these towards the metal piece in like that. Right, and you're done. So on my flap, what I did, I actually did a top stitch, and I decided to do my top stitch on the inside here. You can also do it here, whatever you want. If you want to be do more detail, you can also sew around the map and do more other seams around, and or even quilt it if you choose. So we're gonna put this one to the side because this is done, and we're gonna work on our strap. So let's put all these to the side and then start on the strap. So I have my strap here, and the strap that I have here, I cut 4.5 by 44, and a fabric that I chose for the strap, and I also cut a strip of fusible fleecy. You can also use the Decor Bond, but I use fusible fleecy, 2 inches by 44, and you're gonna fuse it. So how to fuse it, you're gonna put it right in one edge here. If you want your strap to be a little bit thicker, you can definitely do the 4.5, and then so you have the fusible fleecy in both sides. But I don't like it too thick, so I'm only doing one side. So after you fuse this on, you're gonna fold this like that, match those 2 edges, pin it, and sew all the way to the bottom. After you've done that, you can use a safety pin or one of those turning tools, and you're gonna turn your flap to the right side. When I have my flap on the right side, this is one that I already have done in red. I'm going to be doing a top stitch, and I'm going to increase to do a top stitch. I'm going to increase my stitch length to 4 because I like a longer stitch, and I'm going to do in both sides. And I'm also, as you see, I actually did 1 in the middle, 2 in the middle, or you can even use it the decorative stitch, whatever you decide. and then your strap is done. Cut it to size, whatever size you decide, and then you're going to attach that to the bag. After all those steps are done, you're going to go back to the front of the bag and do your corners. Okay, so I have the front of the bag that I have here, and I need to cut corners to make my bag sides. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go here to my sewing line, and I'm going to measure 2.5 from the sewing line and 2.5 from the sewing line to the bottom, and I'm going to draw a little square. Actually, sorry, 1.5 from your sewing line and 1.5 from your sewing line. Then you end up with a little square like that. Then you're going to get your scissors and you're going to cut it. You're going to do that to your other side of the bag. Same thing. And also to your lining. Exactly the same thing that we did here. When you're done that, you're gonna open this like that. You're gonna match those two seams that you have there. So you see, there's two seams, and you're gonna nest it. You're gonna put one seam to one side, one seam to the other side. So you eliminate the bulk. So this one I'm gonna fold to this side, and this one I'm gonna fold to this side. Then I'm gonna go put a pin here, and I'm gonna sew this across. Okay, and I'm back. So I sew this side across, this other side. I also did the same to my lining. That side and that side. So I'm going to turn my front of the bag to the right side. So just going to trim it to the right side. Okay, as you see, that was my corners. So the bag can stand like that. Alright, so my next step will be attaching my strap to the sides here. So I'm going to find my seam, I'm going to get my strap, I'm going to fold my strap in half, find the middle, and that middle is going to go on my seam like that. I'm going to put a pin, same thing to the side, seam, middle. Just make sure your strap is not twisted when you put it around, and pin. Okay, you're going to take it to the machine and secure it in place. Then you can remove the pin for the next step. Then you're going to get your flap of your bag. You're going to fold it in half. You're going to find your middle, fold it in half, find the middle, put a pin. Go to your bag, the back of your bag, whichever side you decide it's your bag. You're gonna match your half and half there. There's your seam, there's your other seam, and you're gonna find the middle of that. So this would be my middle. So I'm going to put a pin there. Okay, then I'm going to get my flap and I'm going to match the middle with this middle here, and I'm going to secure it in place all the way to here, and I'm going to touch it to my back. Okay, after you've done that, you have that in the middle, you're going to take this to the sewing machine and you're going to sew that on right across. So I'm going to be attaching this right now and I'll be right back. So I attach my flap to the back of my bag. So I sewed it here on the top. This is just a temporary seam. So we're not really going to see that seam, so it doesn't really matter what color of thread did you use. So now I'm going to get my lining, and my bag, as you see, it's on the right side with the flap attached to it. And now I'm going to get my lining, and my lining is going to be on the wrong side. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my whole bag inside of the lining. Flap and everything has to go in there. So what you're going to try to do is match your seams, so the side seam. So you have a side seam here and a side seam in your lining. So you're going to put those together and pin it. I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Find your seam, your other seam, and pin it. It's always good if you have one seam folded to one side, one seam folded to the other side. It just reduces the bulk when you're sewing it around. And you're going to pin it. Then you're going to keep pinning it all the way around, two fabrics together, lining and outside fabric. Alright, and I'm just going to put a couple more, and I'm going to go sew this around. Just remember always when you do bags, if you do lining and if you're lining your bags, to always make sure your seam allowance is the same for your lining and for your exterior. Otherwise, they don't match. So always make sure you use the same seam allowance to both pieces. So and mine's seem to match pretty good. So I'm just going to go and sew this quickly around, and I'll be right back. So I sew the two pieces together all the way around. So now I'm going to flip my bag inside out. I'm going to actually turn it inside out. So gently I'm going to try to pull the inside of my bag out through the bottom of the lining. So I'm just going to be really gentle. This takes a little while, but just be gentle when you're pulling it out, so you don't rip your stitches, and then you have a lot more to sew afterwards. So just keep turning it and flipping it and turning it gently. Oh, almost there. Couple more. And just note the lining has to come out, the strap. All right, there we have it, all the way out. Okay, there's my lining. So before we close this hole, we're going to close it in here on the inside, but we need to attach the other side of the magnetic snap, because otherwise we can't close it. So I'm going to put my lining inside of the bag. So I'm going to pull in the lining all the way in. Okay, all the way in, and there's my strap. I'm gonna go here and have a look, where do I want that magnetic snap to be? How much do I want that to fold down? So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna fold my bag with the seams evenly, like that. I'm gonna bring my flap evenly down. And if you want, you can measure from the blue line, I would say maybe 1.5 inch. Put that there and check your size, but normally should be fine. So I have about that. So I'm gonna get my marking pen, I'm gonna lift, and I'm gonna do a dot right there. Okay, this is where I want it. So you can measure from here to here, where you have there, and from there to there. So if I go like that, so by here, just adjusting a little bit, 8.5 and 8.5. Okay, so through my opening there, so through my opening of my lining, first I'm gonna draw where I need to cut it open. So, and I need to cut it here and here. So I'm gonna get a seam ripper. I put my hand through the lining. Put that in. Put my magnet in. Same thing that we did to the other piece. Fold it in. You're done. So you're going to take this to the iron it all the way around, and do a top stitch. After you're done your top stitch, close your lining, and you're done. And your bag is done. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe, give us a like, and leave a comment below what would you like to see as a tutorial.